How many
Yeah.
horses just died in the last 2 months? Technically,
Thank you.
they're athletes,
Yeah.
but who gives a shit because we're betting on them?
That's
They put the blanket over them, and they were all loaded with all
we've
kinds
talked
of
about this,
equine.
and then Pete and I have talked about this, and then we're going to do this on a show future. It's one of my pet peeves. If you go to any of my social media pages, you'll see that I am constantly watching what happens with thoroughbred racing, which should be banned in America, because all it is you're taking the athletes, you're drugging them, you're overusing them, you're doing them when they're 2-3 years of age, all for your gambling purposes to make a couple of bucks. And if those horses die, and they die, the gamblers will go, it's just a horse. Fuck you.
Well, you know my feeling.
Same with dogs.
Go ahead.
I went to the last dog race in Florida.
Yeah.
It was the funniest thing I've ever seen, because one of the dogs figured it out midway through the race, went the other way, and won. It was disqualified, but he fucking figured it out. He knew. It was the last race.
Yeah, that's the other thing. What happened with the dog racing was in a lot of ways just as bad.
Very
Those
bad.
greyhounds and everything. It was, and look, I've been to horse racing. I've been to the Kentucky Derby. I've been to dog races in my life, in my lifetime. But I'm kind of like it. Really is. It's not right. It's not right.
It's very simple.
The argument you hear, we used to, and Murph will remember, our old big show producer Andy, great guy. He'd be like, "Look, they're beasts of burden. They're beasts of burden." But it's becoming crazy right now. There's too many deaths. There's too many. If it stopped, it'll never stop.
Now,
can we also discuss the malnourishment? Some of those jockeys only get like a cracker and a glass of water.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of food issues.
As we are sitting here today discussing this, 140. The last number I saw was 138, and then we're doing this show on May the 26th, 2023. 138 horses have died at thoroughbred racetracks across America that we know of, because the tracks, and I worked thoroughbred racing for more than a decade. They cover it up, they shovel them. They have backhoes. At a couple of the tracks, they had backhoes which dug the holes and dropped the horses into it when they died to make sure that nobody saw it. 138 horses have died so that people can make a couple of bucks on a $2 bet. That's unconscionable to me.
Yeah, this one I am with you 100%. But unfortunately, it's too big of a business, and as long as you have the Bobby Bafferts of the world out there, it's going to be very difficult to shut it down.
Well, do you know why? The reason why it's that, and you're right, Pete, but the reason why it's that sport right now, and the reason why it's so big, is because state governments like Florida and like Kentucky, they make millions skimming off the top on the gambling. And as long as the governments are making money and they're all getting their under the table payments, horse racing will live forever.
It's also popular. It's also got the backing of celebrities. That's all they show at the Kentucky Derby is
and the
who's
TV
there.
networks.
Yeah, who's wearing a big hat?
Well,
and look at it. We always think about horse racing as in this country. Look at it around the world. Look at it, and in Japan. It's big. It's big in a whole and Europe, all over Europe. Horse racing is huge in all around the world. It's almost as big as
I can't solve Japan, and I can't solve the United Kingdom, and I can't solve Australia, and I can't solve Korea, but I can try to solve America.